Je vous ai dit tout à l'heure que nous allions nous déplacer dans l'espace, non pas dans le temps, parce que nous sommes toujours à l'époque présente, mais dans l'espace, en Finlande. Alors la Finlande, qui est évidemment souvent présentée comme un modèle, eh bien on va entendre de la bouche du cheval, comme on dit en anglais, hein. On va entendre directement des commentaires, un exposé sur l'expérience finlandaise, donc avec Madame Pirkko Lindberg, qui est directrice du service de bibliothèque de la ville de Tampere, en Finlande. Alors elle va nous expliquer un peu où se trouve cette ville. Et le sujet de sa conférence, donc faite en anglais, je rappelle, mais sur le canal 3, vous l'écoutez en français, le sens de la lecture et des bibliothèques dans la société finlandaise. Mrs. Lindberg, it's up to you.
Okay, bonjour Montréal. Je suis heureuse et honorée d'avoir été invitée à venir vous parler de la lecture et des bibliothèques finlandaises. And that's all about in French, because this is going to be in English. I'm happy to be here and just try to get you some ideas how libraries and reading are important in Finland. Just some details about Finland. We have a population about 5.5 million people, and we have two official languages, Finnish and Swedish. About 5% of the population speak Swedish. And we are a land of libraries. We have about 800 libraries and 150 mobile libraries. Just a picture of my hometown, Tampere, which used to be an old industrial city, as you can see, and it's a beautiful city between two lakes, and the population of 200,000 people. And this is my main library, my library. Actually, we have 14 libraries in Tampere, and this is the main library where I'm working. Some facts. Public libraries are quite old in Finland. The oldest, well, they are about 160 years old, our library history. And it's known internationally as a forerunner in the library field. And Finland is one of the few countries in the world where we have strategic documents outlining library development. And we are also internationally known for a comprehensive library network, high user and lending rates, and use of ICT in libraries. And all Finnish libraries are open to everybody, including Parliament Library and National Library and so on. Using library is free of charge, and that's also in our Library Act. We do a lot of cooperation. Our library network comprises municipal public libraries, research libraries, school libraries, and we all work together because it's a small country. It's easy to work together. We all know each other in the library field. Finns are heavy users in libraries. According to statistics, the total annual lending per capita was 17 loans year 13. So that means that every Finn lends 17 books per year. And the annual number of library visits was 10 per capita. Lending figures are going a bit down at the moment, but the happy thing is that last year children's books lending was higher than last year. Of course, libraries are not anymore for lending books. We have a lot of services. And we develop libraries to be more and more flexible and to give all kind of things for our citizens. Finland is one of the rare countries also in the world where we have the Library Act, library law. And it was enacted so early as 1928. And we are reforming the Library Act now. It begins this year, and I'm happy to be in that group which is renewing this library law. Some points, I just took some paragraphs of the library law. The local authority shall be responsible for arranging the library and information services referred to this in Act. The use of the library's own collections within the library and borrowing from the collections shall be free of charge. Library users shall have access to library and information personnel and to continually renewing library material and equipment. Library and information services promote equal access to education, culture, reading and art appreciation, constant development of knowledge, skills and citizenship skills, and so on. So this Library Act is very important to us because it gives us the legalization of doing what we do. At the Ministry, the Division for Cultural Policy and the Department for Cultural, Sport and Youth Policy administers matters relating to public libraries. And the Ministry's work in the library field is governed by aims set in the government program and in the Finnish Library Policy 2015, which defines the direction and objectives of the activities in Finnish public libraries. And according to the Ministry of the Library is a basic service along with comprehensive education. The public libraries are run by municipalities who also determine the extent of services and allocate funds at their discretion. About 30% libraries' annual firm funding comes from the ministry and 70% comes from the municipality or city. And 2014, the municipalities spent 444 million Canadian dollars to cover library operational costs, and that is something like 82 Canadian dollars per inhabitant in the Finland. Except the firm money we get from the ministry, they also give us a lot of money to develop libraries, and they have many programs. And one of the biggest, it's a million project we are having now, is called Lukuinto. It means reading enthusiasm, and it's a large project. It's the cultural minister's #1 project for promote reading and develop cooperation between schools, kindergartens, libraries, publishers, etc. So I would say that ministry is putting a high value on libraries and reading. Well, we are a quite big actor in the book industry, because libraries buy also books which aren't so popular in the bookstores, which have small distributor like poetry and so on. And libraries in Finland spent 33 million Canadian dollars to books in 2013, and that is of total book sales 9.5%. And just to see the amount, the whole budget for my library is 13.9 million euros. That's something like 20 million Canadian dollars. And from that we spent 11% for the acquisition. That means everything, but 90% from the acquisition is books still, including e-books. And libraries buy books from the big distributors. We cannot use bookstores. We have to do a competition to where we get this which distributor gets the best results. We have to buy books for 3 years of this distributor. That's the system. Okay, then something about literature and books about in Finland. We are having a 100 years anniversary, 2017, and the special program for the government for this jubilee is a new central library to Helsinki. And we are very proud of that because the government and the state will celebrate our independence, 100 years independence, with a library. And it's a huge project and very expensive. We are also celebrating Books Year this year. And here you can see our president and his wife. The president of Finland, Mr. Sauli Niinistö, is the projector of the Books Year. And both the president and his wife are talking in TV and press about reading. And also Mrs. Jenny Haukio is the executive manager of the annual Big Book Fair of Turku City. And that is also, of course, important to us in the book affair. And they announced the Read piece some months ago, and you can see here what they talk about that they challenge parents to give time for books. Our writers, they are big celebrities in Finland. There's a lot of literature prizes, and when there is the biggest one, the Finlandia Prize, it's always #1 in TV, press and radio and so on. And writers are cultural and social influential persons. And they are popular in TV shows and political discussions and whatever. So we love our writers. They get many kind of grants, of course, which are the basic for Finnish literature's diversity, because we are a very small country and a very small language area, and that's why it's important to have our own literature. And actually I was visiting about 10 libraries here in Quebec, Montreal area, and I noticed that they have, all the libraries I visited, they had Sofi Oksanen and Arto Paasilinna, which are mostly translated writers. And this lady here with the long hair, she's Sofi Oksanen, our most known and famous writer at the moment. Writers get also compensation of library lending, which define of lending times in libraries. And the year 2014, we gave the lending compensations for writers were 11.2 million Canadian dollars. Finnish Writers Union has about 700 members. About 50 writers only get good income that they can live only by writing. About publishing. Publishing is still going strong in Finland, but you know the sales for printed books are going a bit down. There are about 100 publishers in Finland who belong to the Publishers Union. Of course, there are even more, but the real publishers. And as you call professional publishers are about 30. And the remarkable thing is that the same publisher can publish a Nobel Prize winner and Dan Brown and chick literature, whatever is read, so they don't concentrate to any specific literature. Just some figures to show you publishing in Finland. You can see that it's for adult fiction books, it's going a bit up, and these are titles. And for children's books, it's going a bit down. I don't know why, but these are the figures. And here you can see sales by book types. And this is the whole book industry in Finland. And as you can see, the most of it goes to learning materials. And the second one is non-fiction. And then fiction, and then children and youth books and comics. And total sales for printed books were 21.5 million, the whole. About bookstores. Year 2000, there were 288 bookstores with wide collection, but year 12 there were only 193. So bookstores are decreasing in Finland, I'm sorry to say. Books have gone to shopping malls, usual stores, internet shops, and book clubs. That's why bookstores have started a campaign, the Day of the Book and the Rose. It's in April, and if you go to bookstore or even some libraries, you get a rose, and you get a special book from a famous writer only that one day as a present if you buy one book. E-materials, well, we have them, but of course universities and other high schools and so on, they have the material in e-form, but public libraries, not so much. We have done a lot recently to get e-books, and we have the same discussion maybe as you with the rights, the writers' rights. They don't want to give e-books for lending, but we have about 11,000 e-books available, and we have also some like Overdrive and Zinio, but they are very expensive databases. We cannot buy them all, only the biggest libraries. And people also buy books, for instance, from Amazon, but it's not a big distributor because the books are in English. Most people read Finnish books. We are great readers. We lend a lot, but we also buy books a lot. 77% of Finns buy at least one book per year. And these heavy users are people who buy more than 10 books per year. And as I told you, every Finn borrowed 17 books per year from the libraries. And actually in my library, they borrowed 22 books per year. So we are good. Something about education, because this is important when we talk about reading. In Finland, basic education is equitably available to all children. no matter their social standing, gender, place or residence, economic standing, and so on. Basic education is completely free of charge, and it includes instruction, school materials, school meals, lunches, so on, food, healthcare, dental care, commuting, special needs education, and so on. The schools are generally run by local authorities, so we have only, well, not only, but mostly public schools. Fewer than 2% of children go to private schools. So education is free to everybody. There are only some private schools. On all school levels, teachers are highly qualified and committed. They require master's degrees, and teachers' education includes teaching practice. Teachers work independently and have strong autonomy towards their work. Just something about our education more. Like Finnish universities have small tuition fees, which is also a reason for good education. It's only about 140 Canadian dollars per year. So everybody can go to university if you are wise enough. So it's not a pending of your money. And all Finnish students over 17 years get also monthly student grant and housing benefit from the state, and they don't have to pay it back when they are ready. Okay, somebody maybe knows something about PISA survey. Finns are good in that. And the year 2009, the main focus area was reading literature. And we came at the 3rd place in that in the whole world, after Korea and Shanghai. And also we get good results in other subjects. And I think, for myself, I think the reason for this success is our good school system and also library system. Of course I say it because I'm a librarian. But I think so, really. Well, libraries and schools. Our Finnish school libraries are not so good. They vary a lot because the Library Act doesn't concern school libraries. So it's up to the headmaster, how he puts money to the school libraries. But that's why most schools get their library services from public libraries. And public libraries give pupils in all levels teaching in information retrieval, book talk, education, how to use libraries, and so on. So we do a lot of work with schools. And most of the libraries, well, almost all, have a firm system how to cooperate with schools. Just some things we do, like mobile libraries, go to kindergartens and schools too, to give them to borrow books and so on. And then just show you what we do. For instance, this is from my town, my city. What we do with libraries, with schools, we give them at the 2nd grade to know library, getting interest to books and reading. 3rd grade, book talk in the school or in the library. 4th grade, information retrieval, mobile tasks to get familiar with the net library. So I would say that almost every school children come to library when they are in the school. And also we have the new law for preschools that tablets, computers and games must be involved. And in the new official preschool curriculum is now mentioned for the first time that children must be familiar with devices and games. And of course that is also a deal with us, and we teach them how to use these things. And of course we teach them how to use the library with these things. This is a library dog or a reading dog. Reading dogs are used in libraries, and they are for children with reading problems or word blindness or like that. And there is this dog and this child, and she or he reads alone to this dog, and the dog is listening. Well, mostly they are sleeping, but they are listening, and the children feel that they are safe and there is no one to criticize them and so on. And we have so many good results of this system, and there is no adult around. We have also made applications for mobiles for information retrieval, and libraries have developed questions and exercises for mobile devices, because you know, teenagers, when they come to library, they are not so interested of books, and when they have their own mobile phones, they can do these exercises with mobile phone, and it's more interesting for them. And even boys get, well, they like to do this because they can use their own mobiles. And this is a new way to teach pupils to seek for information of books and literature. Well, of course we have challenges. Everything is not just so good. European Union countries are worried. Every fifth adult in Europe is missing literature, which is needed to act in a modern society. And they have done this literature politics and reading for reading and writing skills. And you can see the name here. Well, materials change, digitalization and remote access are growing. And new curriculums in schools are done at the moment. How to get libraries involved, because I think that libraries must be involved in schools' curriculums. We are an important thing there. The ways of learning and teaching will change, also ways of reading. New methods for book talk and inspire are needed. The joy of reading, basic skills, what about them? And I must say that our libraries still have this old-fashioned image, and that's a pity, but we try to do everything, but it's not easy. And the mobile has taken the place of the book, who knows? And young people don't read so much anymore, not paper journals, they read it in their mobile phones and so on. We have big questions to deal with. But I think libraries can promote reading and answer to these challenges, because we work together. And libraries and schools' cooperation is crucial to promote reading and to get pupils to read. And also, we have more money than schools to invite famous writers to speak about the joy of reading, and that is also good. We have good writers, and I think that some of our writers are now idols for young people, and that's good, of course. And the book talk is given by librarians is the most popular and used method for school children. And it also produces high lending rates. I told you that our children's lendings are going up, and I think that's because of the book talk. And we have also special reading programs for boys at the moment going on. So there are many ways to encourage reading. And we are large event producers also. We have writer visits, we have lectures, reading circles, so on. Also for adult people, not only for school children and children. And library's basic is the collection. Everything we do is somehow connected to literature, reading, lifelong learning, and develop equal citizenships. Thank you. Thank you.